Notice is hereby given that a meeting of the City Council Committee on Administration and Finance on Thursday, January 26th at 6 p.m. met to discuss $5,255.15 from the Retirement Stabilization Fund, sick leave buyback, and a 5% COLA increase for the Salem retirees' pensions. This meeting is being held in person at City Council Chambers, 93 Washington Street, second floor, and via remote participation in accordance with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022. In-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, and the public may also participate, listen, and/or view this meeting while in progress via the remote participation platform Zoom by clicking on the following link or following webinar ID 816-8649-8097, password 716355. Subcommittee meetings are held to take action for the purpose of making recommendations to the full council. City Council Committee on Administration and Finance meeting today at 6 p.m. for the purpose of discussing the previously mentioned matters. Notice of this meeting was posted on December 19th, 2022 at 9:36 a.m. This meeting is being recorded. And it looks like we have all members of the committee present. And joining us from the full council, we also have Councilor Cohen and Councilor Prasnewski. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I think we will start with the simpler of the two matters, which is the $5,255.15 from the Retirement Stabilization Fund. Part of the reason that I decided to send this into committee is just to make sure that we stay in the habit of reviewing these financial matters. I think most of us are probably familiar with the idea that when somebody from the city of Salem retires, we have a fund dedicated to buying out their vacation time, and that is exactly what the order is before us. Did anybody have any questions from the committee about this order whatsoever? In the meantime, I will take the opportunity to extend our thanks to our retiring workers, Victoria Caldwell from the Solicitor's Office and Kathleen McMahon from the Treasurer's Office. We, of course, wish them all the best in their future endeavors. And if everybody has had a chance to review the documentation and nobody has any questions, then I will accept a motion. Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Chair McLean. I'd like to move to send the $5,255.15 Retirement Stabilization Fund sick leave buyback to the council with a positive recommendation.
Councilor Hapworth moves that we send the $5,255.15 appropriation from the Retirement Stabilization Fund sick leave buyback to the full council with a positive recommendation.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Watson-Felt. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Easy one. Now to, I suppose, the more exciting of the two matters, since nobody had anything to say about the first. We have a request to opt into a one-time option from the state of Massachusetts for a 5% increase on the base COLA fund for the Salem retirees. I know that we have some individuals in the crowd today who would like to speak to this matter, so I think I'll give them the opportunity to do so, and then we will hear from the committee. Who would like to go first? Just please state your name and address for the record.
Robert Callahan, 8 Stearns Place, Salem, retiree who was the elected representative of the City of Salem Retirement Board. First of all, I'd like to welcome Victoria and Kathleen to our ranks, becoming the newest retirees. So welcome to them to the retirement system. Secondly, I won't go over what I said before. I was here 2 weeks ago and I made my presentation. I just really urge you to vote for this matter tonight. It's real important to the retirees, and I think it's well deserved by all of them. So I urge you to vote this matter in and to pass it on to the full council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan.
Hello, committee members, and thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Paul Findlin, and I'm from the Retirement Board, as I know most of you, I believe. And just to provide some background on this one-time local option to increase the COLA from 3% to 5%. This is pursuant to Chapter 269 of the Acts of 2022, and we haven't seen a 5% COLA authorized since 1992 for the fiscal year 1993 COLA. And I believe that the main driver in this one-time authorization is that we are seeing multi-decade highs in inflation. So as we know, and I can tell you personally, working with retirees, being on a fixed income, it can provide some, it's a wonderful thing to have, and believe me, they appreciate it, but it can provide some financial insecurity at times because it is a fixed income. And so when we see this kind of inflation, there's not much flexibility, but this type of an authorization allows us to relieve some of that burden that this inflation has provided. So, I believe the committee members have the background information on the costs associated with this, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have, and hopefully I can speak to them.
Thank you for joining us. I will ask you some questions, but I'll thank you for your work on this at all times. Of course, we want to make sure that we're taking care of those folks who have served the city over time. I know that many people on fixed incomes are facing a pinch. We did have an opportunity last year, I believe, to increase the base amount that we're making the COLA upon tonight by some $300 or so, or $3,000 or so. So this is another attempt to sort of help catch up a little bit with the rising costs that everybody is facing. Can you, if you don't mind, speak a little bit to how this impacts sort of the long-term prospects of the fund? I know that we have a pay schedule that we expect to pay over time to help fund these commitments. How does this interact with that?
Sure, absolutely. So I believe these materials were provided, the analysis that our actuary, Siegel, performed to demonstrate the cost of the increase of 5%. Just bring this up. So the present cost was stated by Siegel to be a little over $1.6 million, or $1,612,865, which, just to put it in practical terms, because eventually that amount will need to be funded, they've assigned it to the funding schedule in the year 2032, so it would be added to the system's appropriation assessment in 2032, and because it's a future cost and we have to project the increases over time, at that point it'll be just over $2.9 million. So what this illustrates is that the year-to-year appropriation assessment for our employer units, of which the city is our largest, they would not be impacted annually until that last year in 2032. And part of the rationale behind this is it wouldn't provide any additional financial burden to the funding schedule until that final year. And in that final year, we've already projected a decrease to the appropriation amount. So there's already going to be a drop-off from 2031 to 2032, adding the cost of this 5% or this 2% increase to the COLA for that last year in 2032 would just mean that there would be a little bit less of a drop-off coming from that 2031 appropriation. So another way to say it is our employer units would feel a little bit less of the sting of it because it's happening in that final year.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the committee before Mr. Findlin takes his seat? Or from any of the councilors who have joined us? Let the record show that Councilor Varela also joined us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Sally Hayes, former ward councilor, here tonight as an elected member of the Retirement Board. I just would like to say that I hope you all will support this tonight because they are really hurting our seniors. So please think about it and vote tonight for the 5%. It's only 1 year, so I think we can handle that, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Will you just state your address for the record, please?
21 Fairmount Street, Salem.
Thank you.
Dominic Pangallo, 25 Buffum Street, Salem, and I'm the chair of the Retirement Board. I won't repeat much of what's been said here this evening. I have a more full statement that I'll offer during public comment at the regular meeting, but just want to emphasize one of the points that Paul made, which is that this is funded towards the end of the funding cycle for the Retirement Board's actuarial table, which means that it is actually just that the amount being reduced on the employer units will be less than what it would normally be in that year. So it's not an upfront cost that the city is being asked to pay this year, or any of the employer units are being asked to pay this year. It's a less of a reduction towards the end of the calendar for the funding of the system. We've had, and I'll mention this again at the regular meeting, about an 8.7% rate of return over the last decade for this system, which is very competitive. We have almost $250 million in assets, and we're in a very strong fiscal position right now. So it seems like, particularly with the cost of living and inflation, that because we have that strong financial standing in the system, we have a responsibility to help our retirees. And again, this is a COLA only on the 15% base of the retirement. It's not on their entire retirement. So grateful for your consideration of it tonight, and I'll talk to you again at 7.
Thank you. I will just note that I did have a conversation with our finance director today, who unfortunately is not able to join us this evening, but we did have a conversation about the fee schedule and about the impact, the potential impact on that fee schedule, and completely in concurrence with the comments you've heard here tonight. Our finance director is very confident that we can absorb this liability. The fund will be in good shape. It's not going to extend the funding schedule, and it will still represent a decrease from the previous year-over-year payments and that last year of the schedule. So she is comfortable with this moving forward. Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, Chair McLean. Not being a member of the committee, it's refreshing to hear a board being so fiscally responsible, and this is obviously something that will help people immediately, so I can't wait till it gets in front of the full council so I can vote for it.
Any other comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion. Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Chair McLean. I'd like to send to the full council a positive recommendation to approve the 5% COLA adjustment.
Second.
Councilor Hapworth moves that we recommend approval of the 5% COLA increase to the full council, seconded by Councilor Watson-Felt. No further discussion, it seems like. All those in favor? All those opposed? Let the record show I saw 5 hands, including my own. The matter is recommended to the full council for approval. The matter carries. I'll entertain another motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilor Watson-Felt moves to adjourn. All those in favor? All those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.